Good day, I'm Twyla Whelan and this is your JIS News for Monday, September 15, 2025. Hundreds of Jamaicans have applied for the 2025-2026 Rural Youth Economic Empowerment Program REAP Builder Initiative, which offers entrepreneurial training and other support to young farmers. Ahead of last Friday's deadline, Business and Entrepreneurship Development Manager for the Jamaica 4-H Clubs, Amanda McKenzie, says close to 300 applications had already been received. She tells JIS News that the volume of applications reflects a shift in the youth's interest in agriculture, particularly as it relates to incorporating the use of technology in traditional practices. REAP Builder is open to individuals aged 18 to 35 years who are already involved in agriculture and are not formally employed outside of this venture. It is organized by the Jamaica 4-H Clubs in partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining and the Heart NSTA Trust. Participants will receive mentorship and one-on-one coaching from trainers in specialized sectors of agriculture. Training will also be provided in areas such as livestock and crop production, broiler production, apiculture, fisheries and agri-processing, as well as the business side of the sector. Those who participate will have the opportunity to receive levels 1 and 2 NCT VET certification through the Heart NSTA Trust. Material and equipment worth $100,000 will also be provided for approximately 100 participants to support their agriculture business. Formal training for the REAP Builder will begin in November once the interview process for shortlisted applicants is completed and the selected members of the 2025-2026 cohort are notified. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is warning against the unauthorized and fraudulent use of the image of Minister Pernell Charles Jr. in employment scams. A statement from the ministry points to 2 TikTok accounts using the handles at @abcore_travel and at purpose_travel_agents, which have falsely published that they are authorized to provide overseas employment opportunities. The posts are made using repurposed videos from the ministry's website and the minister's image to deceive and mislead Jamaicans who are seeking legitimate employment opportunities abroad. An act, the ministry says, is not only unethical but illegal. The Ministry of Labour and Social Security is the sole authority responsible for recruiting farm workers under government's overseas farm worker programs in Canada. These entities are not listed among the ministry's licensed employment agencies, which are published monthly on its official website and social media pages. Members of the public are urged to always verify the legitimacy of any overseas employment agency by checking the official list of licensed agencies or contacting the Ministry of Labour directly for confirmation. Meanwhile, the statement from the ministry clarifies that the TikTok account using the handle @abcore_travel should not be confused with Abcore Employment Agency, an entity duly licensed to provide only local employment placement services and which uses the TikTok handle abcore.employment. The Ministry of Education is set to roll out a special initiative to attract more men into the teaching profession. This is being done as part of broader efforts to improve outcomes for boys in school. Portfolio Minister Dr. Morris Dixon made the disclosure at Shortwood Teachers College's 140th anniversary media launch recently.
With our focus on education for boys. Because the reality is, when I look at the numbers, every time the results come out for any exam, the girls are way ahead of our boys.
Beyond male teacher recruitment, the ministry will continue to invest in the professional development of educators across the sector.
Teachers will have more opportunities for reskilling, digital literacy training, and certification to keep them abreast of new technologies, new pedagogical approaches, and global best practices.
At the same time, Dr. Morris Dixon is assuring that classroom modernization remains a priority as it works to ensure that teachers are equipped with the necessary tools to help students succeed. The Water Resources Authority, WRA, has pointed to the continued effects of climate change as a significant threat to Jamaica's water resources and the industries relying on them. Deputy Managing Director Jeffrey Marshall tells JIS News that increasingly erratic rainfall patterns and rising sea levels are major concerns.
We're used to the wet season being in May and October and dry season in December to January, February. But now with climate change, you might see, which we've seen before, the rain expected in May didn't come at all. That was in 2015 we had that big drought. The rain expected in May didn't come at all, and that really led to a stressful situation. And so then the rain you expect in October, you might get less of it as that you expect.
Regional shifts in rainfall distribution have been observed, posing a growing threat to agriculture and farming practices across Jamaica. The WRA warns that beyond shifting rainfall patterns, saline intrusion, which is driven by rising sea levels and human activity, poses a growing threat to Jamaica's freshwater aquifers and long-term water availability.
The impact of saline intrusion is something that's always a concern as well. There's both the anthropogenic or human-caused intrusion where people have been overpumping. You see that in the lower Rio Cobre and in lower Clarendon, southern Clarendon. People have been pumping a lot of water, the groundwater there, and that pumping will suck up groundwater coming in. But separate and apart from that human aspect is the sea level rise aspect, where as the sea level rises, then that rise also pushes the saline interface forward, backward into the aquifer. And so the well that might be at one location that was pumping fresh water, the sea level rises, the front is pushed back, and through no fault of its own, there's no more saline water in that well.
He underscores the importance of infrastructure, such as the NWC's artificial groundwater recharge system in Innswood, St. Catherine, in addressing the growing challenges posed by climate change. A monument has been unveiled in Kendall, Manchester in memory of the victims of the Kendall train crash that occurred 68 years ago. On September 1, 1957, a train carrying over 1,600 persons derailed near Kendall, killing 187 people and injuring more than 700. The monument was made possible through a memorandum of understanding signed earlier this year between the Ministry of Culture and the Manchester Municipal Corporation. Minister of Culture Olivia Grange, who led the unveiling, described it as a promise fulfilled, adding that the Jamaica National Heritage Trust has begun the process of declaring the site a national monument based on its historic and archaeological significance.
So the internal research is undertaken, which they have started, and also the establishing of the property ownership and getting approval from those who own the property. The internal approval also includes a declaration designation committee that would oversee this process and approval by the Board of Trustees.
The Kendall rail tragedy is described as the worst disaster in the history of Jamaica's railway operations. Last year, Governor General Sir Patrick Allen, at the request of Minister Grange, officially proclaimed the first day of September each year as the National Day of Remembrance of the victims and survivors of the Kendall railway disaster. And finally, Team Jamaica secured their first 3 medals over the weekend at the 2025 World Athletic Championships, being held in Tokyo, Japan from September 13 to 21. Up to news time, the 1 gold and 2 silver medals had pushed the country to 4th on the medal table. 2 of the medals came in the men's 100-meter race, where Oblique Seville became the world champion, ahead of compatriot Kishane Thompson. 21-year-old Tina Clayton, who is competing in her first senior international championship, secured Jamaica's 2nd silver medal in the women's 100-meter final. She was joined in the finals by 2 other sprint champions, Sharika Jackson and Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price, for whom this was the final individual race of her career. The sprint icon has previously announced her retirement after this season. Prime Minister Dr. Andrew Holness praised the athletes for continuing to carry Jamaica's legacy of excellence at the highest level. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Twyla Whelan.